Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. I've got to tell you, this is one of the unexpected episodes. We've got a new comp, action fishing tournaments, just new this year, kayak comp, but the story is absolutely amazing. It was a measurement-based comp with 3 fish. Best bag went 133.5 centimeters. So just do the maths on that. It's absolutely incredible. Big brim, 46 centimeters. Nothing under 40 centimeters, not even close, under 40 centimeters in the winning bag. Second place, 120 centimeters. Should win nearly every comp. Like 340 centimeter fish is absolutely amazing. In any case, just good enough for second place, and 119.5 for third place. Now, not only that, there's a couple of cool techniques in this episode. I hope you enjoy it. It's going to be the first of the pre-release ones. May only be a couple of days, but first of the pre-released episodes on the Bream Fishing Project Collective. So I'm super excited about that, and I'll tell you all about that in a minute. Well, let's get into it. Great episode. I can't wait to bring it to you. Here we go.
Welcome to the Bream Fishing Project. This is where you need to be every Tuesday to find out all the latest tips and tricks to help you target bream on lures. You'll get to hear from some of Australia's elite bream competition anglers and see how they were able to achieve their results in competitions around the country. Now, here is your host, the 2019 Hobie Kayak Fishing World Champion, Andrew Deeth.
All right. So as I record this, it's the night before I leave to go up to Foster for the Hobie comp. So I'm very pumped about that. It's been a while since we've been up there, and it's one of my favorite fisheries of all time. It is also the day, so today during the day, I released the Bream Fishing Project Collective episode, and I've had a bunch of people subscribe, and I'm just really grateful for that. So I just want to say thank you. If you've not subscribed yet, please do. We got a lot going on, and I think you're really going to get some great benefits out of it. Just type in brimfishingproject.supercast.com or send me a message if you need the link or whatever, and we'll get you straight into it. All right. This is a great episode. I'm going to do all the stats and what have you, and we'll get it underway. So Sunday, the 7th of July out of Brooklyn, this had 86 in the fish activity wheel. So by all accounts was a really good fishing day. We had a minor bite period at 7:27 through to 8:57, with a major bite period at 11:57 through to 2:27, which was the back end of the session. High tide was at 9:42 at 1.25, low tide at 3:15 at 0.36. Okay, so Podium Marine Wraps. Are you ready to give your boat a head-turning makeover? At Podium Marine Wraps, they specialize in creating a one-of-a-kind vibrant vinyl wrap for all types of marine vessels. Whether you're looking for a sleek, a modern color change, or a fierce fish design for your fishing boat, or something totally unique like our custom Finding Nemo wrap, we've got a design for every style and purpose. Our design catalog is fast, with pre-designed wraps that can be fully customized to your liking, or they can work with you to create a completely original design. They've partnered with artists who create stunning, exclusive artwork featuring lifelike fish designs, bold patterns, and more. From family boats to competitive kayaks and even full commercial wraps for charter boats, they'll help you make a statement on the water. Not only will your boat look incredible, but their wraps also protect it from harsh marine elements like UV rays, rock chips and scratches, etc. And with a fast turnaround time, most boats are wrapped and ready to go in just one day. So why wait? Whether you're looking for a simple color update or all-out custom graphic, Podium Marine Wraps has you covered. Visit podiummarinerwraps.com.au or call 0422 914 140 to explore your options and start your boat's transformation today. All right, so let's get into the angler interviews. Here we go. All right, so first up in third place, we have an angler dropping a huge bag. So first fish, 37.5 centimeters, backed up by a 40.5 centimeters, and then the final fish measuring 41.5, giving him a total of 119.5. And third place, I have Steve Pourniotis. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you very much, Andrew.
Mate, this is a cracking bag to get third place with. Like, that's just absolutely huge fish.
Yeah, it's one of those days where you start catching fish and you go, oh yeah, this is it. And then you get back and you go, oh, it's a third place.
It's a third place. I know I would have been pretty confident having that bag. I'll go, I've got this. No one's beating this.
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
Oh, well, hey, at least your good mate Jamie got over the top. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, he's reminding me of that every week.
I like it. I like it. All right. So, mate, we had a bit of a chat beforehand. Pre-fishing is not really your thing. So let's roll straight into competition day. So I can't remember whether it was Saturday or Sunday. Yeah, tell us how your day went.
Mate, I think it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday because I flew back. We did a family trip to Europe finally. We kept talking about it. And I flew back that Friday night. I think it was a Saturday. And I just couldn't wait to fish. It was it. And everyone's like, oh, jet lag, you won't be able to fish. I thought, yeah, that's not going to work. So, yeah, put the kayak trailer on the back of the car and took off. So, pre-fish or not, we just made it.
Exactly, mate. Being out in the sun, mate, it helps you readjust. It's the best thing you can do. Go fishing.
Didn't bother me at all.
All right. So how did your day start?
The day started, weather was perfect. We launched there at Brooklyn at Parsley Bay, came out. I just started fishing the boats. Like I said, I've been overseas, had another cast for a few weeks, so I thought I'd have a few casts and get the eye in sort of thing. Caught a couple of small ones off those boats there. The tide was really pumping. And then I made my way across to probably Green Point, I think it's called. And I wanted to, it was I think it was about a 9 o'clock high. Pretty sure it was 9 o'clock high. And I wanted to fish that rock wall and just get the hard bodies right in there. So went over there and caught a couple on some Hurricane slams, the deep version there, slam 47s.
Okay, so that's the really deep running.
Yeah, looks like pretty much like an OSP dunk sort of thing, where I want it to get down there and just bang on the rocks and do its thing. So caught a couple. I think I got a 32 and a 30, if I remember correctly. It just quietened up. It was hard. There was a lot of weed sort of growing off the rocks there. So you're getting hung up in it all the time. But I was making my way to the end of the point because I wanted to shoot across and fish the reef and the drop-offs where we ended up catching the majority of the fish. And I turned up there at around about 9:30, 10 o'clock, I think it was off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then from there, it was put the blade on and start prospecting. It's a funny place. It's pretty much Juno Point towards Patonga Beach. It's a place where you can't always fish it in a kayak. In a boat, it's much easier because you've got current, you've got swell, you've got a bit of everything against you.
Yeah.
And you've really got to pick your days. And that day was perfect. It was flat, just a slight breeze. And for a kayak, it was perfect. So I thought, yeah, I'm going to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, started prospecting with a blade in that sort of 2 to 3 meter mark. Got a few bumps. Didn't really catch any. But then when I moved out to that sort of 5 meters, I fished up to about 6 meters in total. It drops off nearly to 8.5.
Wow.
But that 5 to 6 meter mark is where the fish came for me, yeah.
Okay. And did you continue with the blade?
I did. I was on and off, actually. I was throwing a blade and then I lost a few blades because there's a few rocky, reefy spots there. And I switched over to what we call a free rig.
Okay.
Where I could put on, a 5 or 7 gram weight and really slowly, methodically fish those boulders that are down there. Just dragging the plastic over and under and in the holes. And that's where the major fish came.
Right. Okay. So can we back up there? Can you explain what a free rig is?
A free rig is like, for guys that don't know or haven't seen it, it's a cross between a Texas or Carolina rig. So it's basically a cylindrical weight. These come in 3 grams, 5 grams, 7 grams, whatever. It's like a running sinker rig, really. Yep. So you feed your line through the sinker weight, rubber stopper, like you would a float stopper, and then a worm hook straight after it.
Yeah.
And the idea is that you cast out, the sinker hits the bottom real quick, and then you've got probably about 3 or 4 meters of slack line with your lure free falling naturally.
Yeah.
And that's where the fish sort of look at that and go whack, because especially if they're sitting off the bottom in a couple of meters off the bottom.
Yeah.
That's where the free rig plays its part. Very snag resistant. I like it a lot because it's a really slow way of fishing, and you can actually, when the fish are finicky, I find you can actually free spool and feed that bait back into their face.
Yeah, okay.
Instead of hopping it like a jig head and getting it away from them, you can just open your bail arm and just feed a meter back, and that thing will just waft into their face and just they clobber it.
Yeah.
So it's worked really well for me. Yeah. So
okay. Are you using tungsten weights and what shape weight?
No, lead weights. Tungsten's, like, you can get tungsten weights, but the cost is pretty expensive these days. So we sell a lot of the lead weights in the 3.5. They're a cylindrical shape, so they're like a small pencil cylinder. You can get like a teardrop. I find in the rocky areas that long cylinder profile is just slides over the boulders, doesn't get hung up as much. And there is a little swivel integrated into that weight, which is, I find that important. I have used the other style that don't have a swivel, and you do get a bit of line twist that happens as it sinks. So the long cylinder ones work great for that type of area. And then if it's just a sandy, muddy bank, I'll use a teardrop style. Just sort of hits the bottom and sits in the mud more.
Yeah, okay. Interesting. And what sort of worm hook do you like for it?
On those, I use a Gamakatsu EWG worm hook in a probably a 2 or a 4, just depending on the size of the lure. I use, with the free rig, I like to use creature baits. So things like Damiki rush crawl or an EK Gear bug ant, something like that. The OSP have been really good to me too this year, the Do Live hogs. So why I like that is because you've got the arms and the legs and the tentacles hanging off, it actually floats down the water column real nicely. Whereas a grub tail is a bit different. You need a bit of weight under it to get that tail to work. But with a creature bait, the tentacles are just moving around and they can't resist it. Little crawls, yabby style type lures, yeah, in the soft plastic.
Yeah, okay. And can you explain how a cast would look with that? And like, you're casting up current, side current, start there?
Look, with that, especially if it's a high current area, I cast up current as far as I can. Flick it out as far as you can. I usually use a free rig anywhere from a sort of 5 feet to 20 feet, 25 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's my go-to. Because I'm using, and the deeper it is, the heavier the weight, but I'll throw a 5 gram weight. I'm not shy to throw a weight, and that thing will get down there quick. So literally cast it out, probably a couple of rod lengths worth of slack, and I close the bail arm. The lead hits the bottom, I tighten up slowly, and that plastic is just wafting in the current. And then I'll slowly wind it until I feel the weight. If I haven't had a hit, I feel the worm hook hit the weight, couple of hops, then I'll probably back off, open the bail arm and just give it a metre or two and let it feed it back. If I do that for about a metre or two and I don't get a bite, I'll cast to a different area. So it's a real slow way of fishing. You've got to have patience.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good.
I use it where I know the fish are, sort of thing. I mean, the sounder you can see them on the sounder. If you know the fish are there and they're not taking anything else, it's a great way to try and get them to bite.
Okay. And on the day of the competition, how did it actually go for you? Did you get a bunch?
I got probably all up 10 fish, I'd say. So it wasn't huge numbers, but the quality was out there. Like 37.5 was the smallest. The smallest fish that I brought in, and I was throwing back 35s, and there was a couple of crackers that you can tell when they grab it and run that you lose, and you go, oh my God, what was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, crushed barbs. It's just, yeah.
Exactly. You got like 2 over 40, so they're kilo fish, and the 37.5 is probably 900-ish, thereabouts.
Yeah, I didn't weigh them, but you were talking about Josh earlier on, and I think that 46 he caught was 1.54. I think he weighed it. He was telling me it was a unit. Yeah,
yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, so
yep, that's a cracking fish.
Big fish in there, and it's not like you can go out every day and catch 240s, is it? Not these days, anyway.
No, and not in a kayak where you can't shoot to 10 different spots.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I come from a boating background, so I'm used to a bass boat,
yeah,
where you can zip across. The Hawkesbury's a big place.
Yep.
And I learnt real quick in a kayak that you can't do that.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You really got to pick your area and go, and that's you. Like,
slow down.
Yeah.
And it's been good. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, nice. All right. So in terms of your fish, you had, did they just come throughout the day, or did you get them all in a run, or how'd that look?
Look, it was quiet in the morning. Like I said, I got a couple off the rock wall, and it wasn't anything special, but I wanted to hit that spot on the run out, because when that tide starts pumping, that's where I find the fish come on. And the fish came between, like I said, I think it was about a 9 to 9:30 high, and I didn't start catching fish there till about 10:30, 11. So I only had like an hour and a half to play with, and it was nonstop.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. And you said you dropped a couple?
I sure did. Yeah, on a blade. I thought I dropped it, and then I got back, and the barbs, all the trebles were just crushed flat. That's not a drop.
No, that's a hammering. And what sort of blade are you liking?
I'm a big fan of the Hurricane blade, so the Vibs 37.
Mm-hmm.
The colours that Naughty does are quite, they're bang on. The Black Magic's my favourite, and the Avenger. And they're a different, like, there's 1,000 blades on the market, and they all got their purpose. But in deeper water, me personally, I like a blade. It's a bit hard to explain, but some of the smaller blades, like the VX35, VK Gears, they have a very fast vibration.
Yeah.
Whereas I find these Vibs are more of a slower thump. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
And I find in deeper water, it hones them in. You get the bite. So
yeah,
I've been throwing those a lot.
Yeah, I would describe it as a fat action. Does that make sense to
you? Yeah. Look at crankbaits. You get a tight shimmy action as a fat action. That's probably even better.
Yeah. And then one of the things I like about the Hurricane one is it vibrates almost immediately on the lift. As soon as you move it, it vibrates a little bit. So
yeah, they all got their subtle differences. Like on a shallow 4 foot of water, I'll throw a different blade. But give me 2 meters to 5 meters, and I'm just going to throw on the Hurricane.
Yeah,
37 all day long. Yeah, it's a confidence thing too, I suppose.
That's it. And like I said, I do like them, but I also like there's sometimes where I like the Eco Gib one because it's a fast, skinny action.
Yes.
So
yeah, exactly.
So you just got to know when, and none of us really know when. So
no, that's right. It's all a guessing game. Just makes it sound good.
Yeah, exactly. All right. One thing I should ask about the fishing is what sort of lines and leaders were you running for the competition?
Look, braid. I'm not much of a straight through guy, especially in places where the current is pumping. But my braids, I'm using Varavas and the Gosen. They're my two favourites. But Varavas has been fantastic this year. The Varavas Max PE, great line. Leaders, Sunline Blackstream. Tried that, never went back.
Right. I'm not familiar with that one.
Yeah, so it's an expensive leader. It's sort of like an invisible leader, if you want to call it that, but it knots fantastically and it's really erosion resistant.
Okay.
But it's not cheap. Yeah, so
okay.
We had a few guys asking for it. For the guys that don't know, they probably do, but they don't know. We've got a tackle shop, so I run Tackle Addiction.
Yeah.
And I had guys asking about Sunline Blackstream.
Okay.
So it's very hard to get, but it's a premium leader. And like they try and go, shit, I'm not going to anything else.
Yeah, right.
But that and Yamatoyo, Chindu Harris are my favourites pretty much.
Okay.
For leaders.
Wow.
Yeah, I like a soft leader, personally.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Like I said, I was not familiar with it, so I'll definitely look that up. All right. So while we're on the subject, tell us about your shop.
Oh, look, we do a mixture of stuff. It's pretty much a bream and bass specialist business. It was an idea that I had. Oh Jesus, yeah, these ideas at the back of your brain for forever. So my job was a high pressure job, and it comes to the point where you've got to slow down at some point. So this is what I wanted to do, and the wife has talked to her about it, and she goes, "Yeah, you should do it. Go for it." So we did that about 2.5 years ago now, and it's been great. It's been great. The support we're getting is just fantastic, and it's expanding. We're now going through another growth phase, so the shop's getting bigger and bigger, cramming more and more stuff in there.
Okay.
So yeah, it's good.
Oh, very good, very good. And I notice you look after the AFT pretty nicely.
We do, and AFT. We help the Yak Hunters guys nationally now. We've sponsored the East Coast Bream Series for about 2-3 years. And I always wanted to, if I was ever going to get into it, I always wanted to give back. I mean, these guys are our clients. They come to us and they buy gear. And I like giving back to these clubs, especially the ones that are starting the comp guys off from nothing. And the AFT was a perfect fit for us. But Warwick and Gaz, they're just grades the best. So I thought, why not?
100%.
Yeah, so it's been good.
All right. And then in this one, you got to come third with a bag that would normally win you first. How good's that?
Yeah, it's like I said to you earlier on, it's one of those days you just go out there and go, I'm just going to go for a fish really more than anything, get out and have some fun, and it all pans out.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, the bags are so close, except for Josh, who blew everyone out of the park. But between myself and Jamie, we're talking 2-3 mil.
That's right.
It was hard.
That's right. It's like, the photos, it's subjective when it comes down to that close. And it
didn't bother me at all. It didn't bother me. And Jamie was a guy. If anyone's going to beat me, I'd rather be Jamie. So he was well deserved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
mate, that's a really cool rundown. So third place. Do you remember what you got to take home?
I think it was 200.
Yep, sounds about
I
right.
remember correctly. I've got the check stuff on the wall in the shop there,
Nice.
so everyone sees and goes, "Oh, look, there's a check." Yeah. There's a few other ones there, but that's going back a few years.
Yeah, fair enough. And one last thing before we shoot off, mate, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Yeah, look, I've got to say thanks to the family, to the wife. Super supportive. The kids are probably sick of hearing me talk about lures and bringing lures home, going, "Oh, check the colour of this out," and checking them like, "Dad, are you serious?" It doesn't stop. But secondly, like you guys that listen in, our clients, the support's been fantastic, and we just get messages all the time. You're doing an awesome job. What are you bringing in next? What, get this, get that. Like it's non-stop, but it's really heartwarming. Yeah. So thanks to all you guys.
Oh, there you go, mate. That is awesome. All right, mate. Well, look, congratulations for third place. Yeah, and I'm sure we'll get to have a talk to you again soon.
Thanks very much, Andrew.
Thanks, mate. Okay, fishing.com.au, your one-stop bream lure and tackle shop. Pick up the latest tackle, including Muscle Vibes, Cranker Crabs, OSP bent minnows, Z-Man plastics, Eco Gear lures, and Daiwa rods, reels, and tackle. Same-day shipping. Shop where the world champion, the Australian champion, and the current ABT champion shops. Fishing.com.au, online or in-store at Shop 18/29 Kiora Road, Miranda. All right, so in terms of what's going on at fishing.com.au, you've got the River to Sea Baby Vibes in Cockle, Red Eye. How cool is that? They should be well and truly in shops by now if he's still got some. Cranker Crabs. He's got a stocks of Cranker Crabs, although some colours are in limited supply, so jump on those while you can. I know the stocks are going to be a couple of months away, so get them while they're hot. And last of all, the Bait Junkie prawn they've got, there's a couple of different models there. The small one, obviously, for bream. Big one, I reckon it's going to be cracking for dewies, although I haven't tested it out yet. Fishing.com.au. All right, so up next in second place, we have another angler dropping a huge bag. So the first fish measured 37.5 centimetres, backed up with a 42 and a 40.5, giving him an even 120 centimetres. I've got Jamie Cole. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for having me, mate. It's a pleasure to be here.
Mate, that was a cracking bag. Like, we were having a talk. I think aside from this comp, you would have won all the other comps with this sort of size bag.
Yeah, man. It's unfortunate in a way. Stoked for Josh with what he got. But yeah, man, it was a cracker bag. Yeah, I definitely thought I'd be up there at the pointy end.
Yeah, look, if you look at it, you've got 340s to the tip, so they're probably 36 forks. So in round numbers, you've got about 3 kilos. So like New South Wales, you're going to take out most comps.
Yeah.
But there you go, mate. What a cracking bag. Mate, let's dive back into your pre-fish. Did you get out and have a bit of a look around?
I did. I got out a couple of times. Most of them were hampered by some really strong westerlies that forced me to fish just a really small area that was a bit protected. Didn't really catch much in those first 2 sessions. And then the third session that I got out, I'd actually organised to catch up with Josh Richards for the pre-fish. But he slept in a little bit. So I was out there for maybe 2 hours and caught some really, really solid fish. And then he came out and met me 2 hours later. I put him onto the same spot that I was fishing, and he actually caught a bag that was quite impressive that day too.
Right.
I'll let him tell the story once you get him on, but yeah, he did quite well in the pre-fishes as well.
All right. So it sounds like you're pretty well set up for the event. Let's roll around to competition day. And tell us how you went.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I was a bit worried leading up to it as I'd shared a couple of my catches on social media. Thought I might have a little bit of company come comp day. But yeah, we took off, and I think there were 3 other anglers that sort of went my way. One being Abs Mishlawi and James Tran, both quality anglers. So I was like, all right, they've worked out a little bit of an act too, and yeah, I'd have some company. So luckily they both split off and went and fished rock edges, I believe it was. So it left me pretty well clear to head to the spot that I'd found fish on my pre-fish and yeah, fish it.
Yeah. Tell us about fish number 1.
First fish came at 10:08. It started off a bit slower than what I expected. Sort of said that regardless of how the day went, I was going to fish it because I knew the fish would come through eventually. And the first fish came in at about 37.5 to the tip which I was pretty impressed with. I was pretty chuffed. I thought, the quality's still here. Let's see what else I can sort of put together. And then I had my second come in at 8:30 in the morning that went 35.5.
Okay, so another good fish.
Yeah, another good fish. In any other comp, definitely wouldn't complain about that. Starting to put together a decent-ish bag. And then my third came at 9 a.m. with a 32 centimetre to the tip.
Okay, so at 9 a.m., you've got over 100 centimetres. So you're probably feeling pretty good, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I was quietly confident. I knew that there was some good fish in the system, so I knew I'd need a lot more than that. But it was a good base at 9 a.m. You know, I've still got 3.5-ish hours up my sleeve to fish. I thought that I could definitely upgrade from there on in.
Fair enough. All right. So how were you targeting them? Like what sort of water were you fishing at, and how'd you go about catching them?
So I was fishing what I would call the main channel. I was fishing in a variety of depths, ranging up to about 6 metres and anywhere up to maybe 3 metres. So sort of fishing a little bit of an edge, but there was nothing that defined that spot too much. Just there was water pushing through and the fish were hitting blades.
Right. Okay. So when you say there was water pushing through, was there a lot of current or was it steady or how was it?
Oh, mate, I don't exactly remember what the tides were doing on the launch, but I feel like it was the top of a tide sort of going slack. So there wasn't a whole lot of water movement, being that, yeah, we were at the top of a tide. So there wasn't anything too noticeable. I was, more hanging out for that turn. And I think that's why it started off a little bit quiet. You know, it took me probably 2 hours, hour and a half to get my bag.
Yeah, but you had good fish.
Yeah, definitely some quality fish, but going off what I'd seen in my pre-fish, I knew that there was a lot better there and there should be more of it pushed through later on, which seemed to happen.
All right. Well, so got up to 9 o'clock. Tell us what sort of blades were you using and how are you getting them to bite?
So I was using Peter Cook's the stealth blade that he makes. I was throwing the Suji prawn colour that he's got. It was the only colour that I threw all day. I felt, I'm catching fish on it and good fish at that. I'm not going to change anything up. So I was throwing that, would obviously belt it out there, and I do quite a subtle retrieve. Like, I don't know if you fished those blades before, but I was just doing a really short lift and letting it sit on the bottom. They've got quite an aggressive action, so that you only have to give a very small lift and they'll have that flutter or vibration, so to speak. I was fishing pretty slow, man, and I found that's what they responded well to.
Okay. And were you running scent on them?
I wasn't to start off with, and then once it started getting a bit harder, I was running Dizzy Scent, the Triple X. Whether it makes a difference or not, who knows, but there was some quality fish. I've had good sessions without scent, and I've had sessions where you put scent on and the next cast there's a fish on the end of it. So
I think, yeah, if nothing else, it's a confidence thing. But I believe there's days where it makes a huge difference and days where it's not much. So
yeah,
it's just knowing which day's which.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. And the fish that you've caught up till 9 o'clock, did they go hard or were they a bit sort of doughy, or what was the day like?
Yeah, look, I did find that they all gave me a decent run, especially those two bigger models. Being that I'd been there, the weekend before pre-fishing, I knew what those 40 plus felt like. I didn't think that they were monsters, but I thought, hey, I've got some decent fish on the end of this blade at the moment. I'm only relatively new to bream fishing in general. I haven't done a whole lot of fishing deep or blades. It was probably just prior to the Woolly round. I had a mate, Richard Adams, who sort of took me under his wing, took me out on his boat and taught me how to fish blades and what to look for and whatnot. So I owe a lot to him. But I found that fish, these bream in deep water, go hard. They go really hard.
Very good. All right. Tell us about the rest of your day. You've got your bag. How do you go about upgrading it? Because you must have caught some better fish.
Yeah, I did. So I kept upgrading that last one, that 32 centimetre, by about half a centimetre for the next half an hour. I would have caught maybe 10 fish all above that 30 centimetre mark.
So photo after photo.
Oh, yeah, that's what it was, man. I'm like, oh, this is very similar size, chucking on a brag mat. All right, that's another half centimetre. And so, yeah, I would have cycled through 10 fish at that point, just, hoping that if I kept cycling through them, a bigger one would jump on. And that's what happened. It was probably 2 hours after that 32 centimetre tipper that I caught at 9 a.m, where I hooked a really nice fish, hooked it, started running straight away. Tide had just started running out. Being that I was fishing that main channel, like, it was really starting to move. It was making fishing pretty difficult as you're moving with the tide. You sort of pedal and try and stay on top of it. But when I'm trying to fish slow, it can make it a little bit difficult when that tide's ripping. My back to drag off, as I noticed that there wasn't really any structure around it to be dusted on. And after a while, I managed to net the 42 centimetre tipper.
Nice. Solid fish. What was the condition of it like?
It was good. It was healthy. Definitely not the fattest I've caught, but it was a healthy fish. I think I got it on the scales. I'd have to have a look and see what it weighed, but it was a healthy winter bream.
Nice. And was that the last upgrade for you? Or did you get another one? Did you get the 40.5?
No. Yeah, I did get one more. It was the first upgrade. So that was a very, very welcome addition to the bag. And so, yeah, stoked about that until I managed to get within earshot of Josh Richards. I won't go into too much detail, but he's completely shot any aspirations of a first place to pieces. But I'd actually laughed when he told me what his bag was, thinking that he was joking and having me on. And I asked him what his bag really was, and he told me, no, I'm dead serious. That's what my bag is.
Wow.
Yeah, I continued to fish, and probably 20 minutes after that, I'd hooked another good fish, sort of took off, and I'm like, yeah, this is probably another upgrade. I think that came in around a 40.5 mark. And at that point, I thought that sitting at 120 centimetres, I'd be hard-pressed not to get a top 3 finish.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so at that point, I'd bumped into Steve from Tackle Addiction, and we worked out that we both had pretty much identical bags.
Right.
Yeah, it was going to be extremely close come weigh in. And as you know, AFT marks up to the nearest half a centimetre if you've got it on that line. So it was going to be a matter of it being up to Warwick and what he saw the photos as.
Yeah. It looks like you got him by half a centimetre.
I did, man. I did.
So close.
I did. I ended up hooking what would have been, I think, another 40 plus, but pulled hooks on it. I mean, in hindsight, I probably went a bit too hard on it, but it wouldn't have made a difference at the end of the day. So it didn't hurt too much. But yeah, come weigh in, I sort of controversially stole the win from Steve. I still apologise for it, but it was a much for muchness. We're all good mates and happy to see two good blokes up on the podium.
Yeah, very good, mate. All right. So in terms of lines and leaders, what were you running for the day?
Running a 8-pound expedition braid on the new 24 Daiwa Certates and fishing a 5-pound leader in the Yamato Chinu Harris, and was using a Daiwa Infeet EX 712 LFS in the 23 model.
Nice. So pretty nice gear. And 5 pound, I mean, it's not super light, but you've still got a bit of pulling power. It's definitely suitable.
Yeah. I'd only started using that Chinu Harris recently when Steve put me onto it, and I like it. Really like it. Yeah, no complaints here, and you can put a fair bit of hurt on them if you need to.
Oh, mate. I mean, look, all that gear that enabled you to get at, like, what is a great bag? 120 centimetres? Like, you're winning most comps you go in, just not this one.
No. That's an incredible bag. I don't think that we'll ever see a bag that big in an AFT round again.
Yeah.
It's
It's going to be hard to
very
beat.
impressive.
It's going to be hard to beat.
Very impressive.
Very good. All right. Mate, was there anything else with the fishing before we move off?
No, I don't think so, mate. I think we've covered it pretty well.
Yeah, it was it's a simple plan. It was just effective on the day.
Yeah. It produced some great fish for everyone that fished there.
Yeah, 100%.
Bar Carl. Sorry, Carl.
Yeah, except for Carl. Fair enough. All right, mate. For second place in the AFT, what did you get to take home?
Oh, that's a good question. 300 or 350?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't have it. So
it's something that I should have checked.
Still a tidy little payday for one day.
Absolutely, mate. It's all gone back to Steve in blades that I've lost since, but yeah, it's good to put it back in the industry anyway.
Exactly. All right, look, so one more thing before we shoot off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I've got a couple of people. Daiwa, for starters. As I think you'd know, I had a bit of an incident at the Woo Hobie round. They helped me out massively without any obligation to do so at all. Without their support, I don't think I'd be on the water for a while still. So yeah, it was unreal. Steve from Tackle Edition, not only a good mate, but he's looked after me since day dot. It's always nice when a small business genuinely appreciates you supporting them. James, Hunter Water Sports, I think it's been really well documented on here that this bloke's a legend. There's been countless times where he's helped me out last minute, and I really appreciate that. What would we call him, a co-host, Mr. Carl Dubois?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I listened to your podcast, Fishing Your First Hobie Competition.
All right.
And shortly after, I reached out to him with a couple of questions. He's a legend of a bloke, man. He's helped me out countless times since then. No obligations. He's just, top bloke. Can't speak highly enough of him.
But don't speak too highly of him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good bloke. Lastly, man, yourself for these podcasts. I think I told you a while back I binge listened to all of your episodes when I first started bream fishing at the start of the year. And some of the techniques that I've been able to put into play have just been game changing. Whereas in the past, I would have lost those fish or not figured out a pattern or something like that. It's an absolute wealth of information that you got to hear.
Oh, mate, I appreciate that. And you got to get on stage and give a little bit back, which is very cool.
Yeah, it's been good, man. I've only been in the scene a very short time, but yeah, jumping on here was definitely a goal of mine, and I'm super lucky to have been able to do it relatively early on in my bream fishing.
Yeah, you've done it in style. Like I said, a massive bag. So a great result.
Thank you, mate.
All right, mate. We're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, and I will see you at the next round.
So easy, Deefy. Thanks for having me. I'll see you then.
Thanks, mate. Okay, if you're in the market for a new fishing kayak or looking to make some upgrades to your existing kayak, or possibly looking at kayak fishing tournaments, then HWS is the place to go. They have a full range of Hobie kayaks, stock the latest accessories, and are really dialed in when it comes to the best kayak fishing setup for the casual fisher and the tournament angler. hws.com.au or in-store at shop 3/638 Pacific Highway, Belmont. Free delivery on Hobie kayaks across all Greater Sydney, Central Coast and Hunter. All right, so look, I'm still pretty focused on my Hobie Pro Angler 12 360. Heading up to Foster, I can't wait to get it in amongst the rack there. It's decked out with a power pole on the back, and I think being able to turn on a dime is going to be awesome. Kick up fins for when it gets a bit gnarly and we start hitting things. You can't get better than that. It's just an awesome platform. And the reason I've spoken about this the last couple of times is just the more I use this kayak, the more I like it. Even though I think I've said before, there has been some dramas with a few things, but that kind of happens with everything. And they've all been sorted back on the water. So I don't think you can go past it in terms of if you want the best fishing kayak that's out there, I think this is the one. So jump on it. James will sort you out. All right. And finally, in first place, dropping a bag that I still can't believe, with a first fish of 45 centimetres, second fish of 42.5 centimetres, third fish of 46 centimetres, giving him 3 fish for 133.5 centimetres. I have Josh Richards. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thanks for that. How are you going?
Mate, I'm going fantastic. But I'm still, like, when this came through, it's about maybe a month ago that this was run. I couldn't believe the size of the fish, mate. I'm still staggering around wondering what happened there.
A lot of people probably are, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people struggled and a lot of people caught fish. You're either one or the other.
That's it. But I mean, there was good fish, like second and third place in most comps would have won.
Yeah, definitely.
And they weren't even close.
No. And yeah, we all fit the same area. So how'd that?
Yeah, mate, it's very, very cool. Mate, look, I'm dying to get into it. So listen, let's jump into your pre-fish. Give us a bit of an idea of what you did in preparation for this comp.
Well, I headed up there probably 3 or 4 weekends in a row, give or take, and just looked around. I'm lucky enough to know the waterway a little bit and be able to spend a fair bit of time down there. So me and Jamie hit it a few times and found some fish, and there were a few sessions we found nothing, but memorable of one that I marked a lot of fish. It's in that like 5 meter mark, but on the day it would like blowing a gale. We couldn't really fish it. Like it's one of them days where you can see them, but you can't fish it. But yeah, other than that, we were lucky enough, like our second pre-fish, we found fish and they just held there and
okay.
Yeah, they didn't move.
So what did you find them on? Did you find them like all in the deep, or did you find them on structure, or?
Yeah, I normally fit the river, like rocky edgewood, fishing them deep, and normally find a lot of fish doing that way. But we actually found them in the deep, just sulking in the deep. They were not stacked up really hard, but they were there. Like,
yeah. So you're finding on your pre-fish, you go out and bang 20 fish, or would you just bring 7 good ones?
Oh, but the first couple of pre-fish, you'll probably get 20 fish, but hard to find a good one.
Yeah.
And then we found where they were just sitting deep, and yeah, there were 2 sessions where we just sat there and banged fish for probably 4 or 5 hours, constantly one after the other, ranging from like a kilo plus to, I think the biggest that I weighed was like 158 or 153 or something.
Yeah, so big fish.
Yeah, it was
big
good.
Fish.
And they were there in numbers, like, and not afraid.
Yeah, okay. And no surprise. So you and Jamie both went out there and hit it a bit, and ended up 1 and 2.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So there you go.
Time on the water. Yeah.
All right, let's roll into comp day. Give us a bit of an idea about what you did for your day, because it's a little bit unusual.
Yeah, comp day. I actually ran up past the bridge to our marked fish on like one of my early pre-fishes, but didn't get to fish them. So I just ran up there by myself and probably spent an hour fishing a flat of 5 meters, and they weren't there. They would come through, but I couldn't get any big ones to bite. Like I had a couple of small fish, but it wasn't worth it. So like 9 o'clock, I pulled the pin and started to pedal all the way back out the front, which is like not a little way.
No.
So yeah, pedaled up past Jamie. We were sitting right out the front, like probably the last 2 kayak out there kind of deal. And when I pedaled past him, he had like a couple fish, but not great. And I was thinking, oh, here we go. Like they might have moved over the week, but I pedaled past probably 300 or 400 meters into a bit deeper water, and within 5 minutes, I had my 46 centimeter. Like they were just sitting there.
Wow. And that was blades, I assume?
Yeah, just fishing Peter Cook self blade. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, like pretty simple. It was good.
Yeah. Okay. Was there any trick to it? Like, were you just little hops across the bottom, or big rips, or?
Tiny hop, and then just sit them on the bottom. Like they could sit there for 15 seconds, and you just get the tiniest little tick on your line, and they just picked it up, like very slow.
Right. Okay. And conditions on the day, were you able to see the ticks in your line reasonably easily, or was it a bit tricky?
No, you could see them. I have 2 rods that I have rigged up. One with braid, and then a good like 3.5 meter to 4 pound.
Mm-hmm.
And then another one that's just 3 pounds straight through.
Okay.
And just switching it up between them. That's all.
Yeah. Okay.
And you'd see it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you banged a 46 first. Is that right?
Yeah, 46 first, and then probably 5 minutes later, I went and spoke to Steve, and we were just sitting there chatting away, and then I banged the 45 right next to him.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he was corner for a Jew, but little did he know that it wasn't my first fish down there, so they run hard.
Yeah. That is insane. All right, so your first two fish is what, 46, 45?
Yeah, and within fish of the profit, just say 20 minutes, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes.
Wow. And then the final fish, what was it, 42 and a half?
Yeah, 42 and a half. I just sat there chatting away. Like, I wasn't in no hurry to really fish, to be honest. It was like a social day for me.
Yeah.
I banged a couple more fish. They weren't like great, but they were like high 30.
Yep.
Got to even do a couple of fish, which was good. We're just chatting away. And I ended up taking a bit of a pedal down toward Jamie to having a chat with him. And then, grabbed a couple more down that way. One of them was the 42 and a half.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Right. Okay, so you had a 46, a 45, 42 and a half. What would your top five have been?
Oh, there were like probably three more over that 40 centimetre mark.
Wow.
But in saying that, I probably only fished hard for maybe an hour all day. And the rest of it, I just sat around talking. And like I said, it was like a social day for me. It was good. I wasn't going to sit there and bang fish in front of the other boys when they had a chance to get them as well.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah, I'm still gobsmacked by the size of it. And even when you say you didn't actually fish the whole day, kind of, that's insane.
Yeah, well, I probably pedaled maybe 3 hours of the day, 3.5 hours of the day.
Yeah, we went one way, then the other.
Yeah, one way and then the other, like completely opposite sides of the arena.
Yeah.
So, which was good. Good to get out.
Absolutely. All right. So, and the blade you were using, the stealth blade, was there any particular color pattern that worked?
With the pre-fish, I found I had 3 blades at one point tied on, like a dark, like it was like a red or a black. And then I had a UV shrimp color, which is like a greeny, full UV. And then I had a silver one. But over the pre-fishers, I found you'd pick them up on one color, then they'll turn off that color, you pick them up on another color. You just had to rotate.
Right. Okay.
But I'd never a fan of a silver blade.
Yeah.
But Pete snuck a couple in, and I was like, I'll give them a go.
Yeah.
And they absolutely killed it.
Yeah, right.
Like, just the silver, I don't know what or why.
It was just right.
Yeah.
And when you say silver, like a silver paint or a chrome?
No, like silver paint.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it's got an orange belly, silver side, and then like a black or a grey top.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nothing really special, but I think it's more the action of the blade, to be honest, than the colour.
Well, mate, it definitely worked. Mate, one more question with the gear, or a couple more questions probably. You had 3 pound on one and Braden leader combo on the other. Was there much difference between the two in terms of fish catches?
Not really, to be honest. Personal preference, I guess. I've been trying to fish fluoro a lot after maybe a year ago chatting with Pete, and he fished fluoro with heat blade. And the last year, I'm not much of a blade fisher, but I've been giving it a go and it worked. Like, it's a bit different, but once you get your head around it, yeah, goes really well.
Definitely. And what sort of rods are you running them on?
In feet at K, like the 7.3, I think it is.
Yeah. Okay, so nice, a really sensitive rod.
Yeah, definitely.
Fair enough. All right, mate. I'm not sure, but is there anything else that we should talk about with regards to the fishing? Is that just about cover it?
Yeah, covered it. It was like a really easy, just a simple day out.
Yeah, okay. A simple day out. Caught the biggest bag in the world, but simple day out.
Yeah, it was good. Just one of the days where just everything come together. I didn't really drop a fish, or I didn't really catch that many fish to even worry about that. It was good.
Yeah, mate. That's hectic. All right, mate. Well, so what you got first place?
Yeah.
Do you remember what you got to take home for that?
I think it was $600 for first place, and then $100 for Big Bream.
$100 for what's the Hunter Water Sports big Bream, the big beast. Yeah, how good is that? Well, mate, that's a pretty great day out. All right, mate. One more thing before we head off. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to?
Like, mainly just all the boys that I've gone through this year fishing with and camping with and that. things have been like kind of tough financially for me. So there'd been a lot of times where I've been helped out or like forced along to comps where I probably shouldn't have gone. Like just a money sense for me, I shouldn't have gone. But overall, it's been good. I've been doing well in the hobbies and getting into it this year and spending a lot more time on the water. And I think that's the key, just time on the water.
Yeah. No, I've definitely noticed in the last year or two or whatever, like you've been up the pointy end of the field. You've been getting good results, which is very cool.
Definitely been good.
All right.
But other than that, also Steve from Tackle Addiction as well. Like I get most of my stuff through there. And he done real. He'll like go down, open the shop up if I really need something over a weekend, and nothing's ever a drama. So I cannot thank him enough.
Very good.
And it was good to share the podium with him. Like get out on the water, catch fish right next to him, have a good day. Like,
yeah,
how can you complain?
Well, there you go, mate. That's fantastic. All right, mate. I reckon we'll leave it there. Congratulations again. And, mate, hopefully I get to talk to you again soon.
Beautiful. Thanks for that.
Thanks, mate. All right. So what a competition and what 3 great interviews there. I think you would have really enjoyed that. The winning fish. I remember I wasn't able to fish this event, but having a look at the scores, I was just absolutely blown away. Joshua Richards on fire. 45, 42.5, and 46. Absolutely incredible. Love to know what that bag would have weighed. I reckon it would have been 4 kilos plus. Either way, he was the winner by a long way, by a good margin. And congratulations to him. All right. So, and the last thing before we go is the Bream Fishing Project Collective. I think it's going to be a great new initiative. I'm really excited about it, and I hope you come along and join us. Search it up at brimfishingproject.supercast.com. There's a link on the Facebook page, or if you shoot me a message on socials or anyway, I will send a link back to you. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the people that subscribed, and I'll talk to you next week on the Bream Fishing Project.
Thanks for listening. Hopefully you were informed, inspired, and entertained. If you were able to learn something or just enjoyed listening, please consider subscribing and rate us on your favourite podcasting platform.